All right, now this is sad, and this is, we've always tried to handle this issue with tact on this show because a lot of people don't. I don't want to live in a right-wing Christian theocracy. This is not what I want to live in. Here's what I also don't want. What I don't want is children, using puberty-blocking hormones or having surgery, and then possibly later in life really regretting that or saying, you know what, I never knew what could have been because I made these choices when I was very young. There seems to be a rush that children that are trans or feeling like they are trans and have some type of, dysphoria potentially are being rushed into operating rooms or they're being rushed into doctor's offices, gender reassignment clinics and stuff like that. I do think that there's it's a little bit of a rush. It's a rush. I've always come from the perspective of when you're 18, you can do whatever you want, within reason. If we can ship you off to war, if you can vote, if you can do all of these things, you should be able to change your gender if you like. This is really sad, though, because this was an 18-year-old, and unfortunately, stuff happens even at that age, because now I agree that this person should have been allowed to do this, but this is a tragic death. One of the participants in a Dutch study, it's really sad. 18-year-old trans-identified male whose puberty was blocked by the Dutch researchers at a very early stage, meaning there wasn't enough penile tissue for surgeons to use to create the new vagina. Therefore, a more risky procedure using a section of the patient's bowel was necessary, which resulted in necrotizing fasciitis, which is a flesh-eating bacteria. And by the way, and I'm not trying to take a side here in the culture war, but this is the plot of Frozen 3. And I don't understand why. Because the plot of Frozen 3 is about someone who sadly, tragically dies because their bowel vagina got diseased. I thought Frozen was about snowmen and a nice castle princess queen thing. But it's not. It's about someone's bowel being made into a vagina, and that vagina got diseased and they died. And that's Frozen 3. So maybe I don't think it's funny that children who go to see, who's it, Olaf, the snowman, have to sit through a 2-hour movie about a vagina being made out of someone's bowel because they don't have penile tissue because their puberty was blocked at a young age. I'm not lying. This is Frozen 3. And I just think it's too much for kids to deal with at this time. You can be whatever you want to be, but if you don't have enough penile tissue because we blocked your puberty, we're gonna use your bowel. That's the thing that you use to go to the bathroom. And we're gonna make a vagina, but it might get sick. That's one of the songs. And by the way, I don't even think that as a song, I don't think that's well written. I don't think that's well written. I'm a fan of alliteration and metaphor, and that's very direct. And it's unfortunate. This is not right that this happened, because now I guess in a few years they're going to be better at this. Isn't that the hope? Isn't that the hope? Now this is a fair question. Don't get mad at me. The question is, in a few years, are we going to be better at bowel vagina surgeries? Yes or no? Are we going to be better at making a vagina out of someone's bowel? I hope we are. Literally, not kidding, no joke. I genuinely hope getting a vagina in a few years is like nothing. It's like, remember the dentist? It was kind of annoying, That's what I hope it is. I don't want anybody dying. If you want a vagina, they should be able to give you a fucking puss, and it should be quick. It is going to be, what will it be at that point? 2020, 30, 25, 20, 27, 2030. In 2030, if you're dying because they can't put a puss on you, we got a problem. So they need to figure this out without people getting necrotizing fasciitis. And I don't think it should be the plot of Frozen 3. Because now in Frozen 3, they lie, and at the end, the necrotizing fasciitis is cured by the magic of the land, which isn't real. That's not real. But at the end, the bowel vagina is cured, and the person is free. What do you mean, Jesus? This is the plot of the film. This was leaked from Disney. Disney leaked this. I don't even know why they leaked this. I think because they want to have the fight now. What if Disney had a ride called Bowel Vagina the Ride, where kids could see? Because here's the deal. Some of this is a little freaky, but some of it's cool. Some of it's cool that you can make a pussy out of a lot of stuff. I think it's going to be like how a bill becomes a law. Remember that? Hey, this is how a bill becomes a law. I think it's going to have to be like, this is how a pussy becomes a pussy. And they're going to have to talk about it because I don't want people dying. This is fucking horrible. I don't want people dying. I want them to figure out how to make better pussies. America, figure out how to make a better pussy. The pussy, you got to get a better pussy program for the kids. Got to get a better pussy program for the kids. I do not want my son's pussy infected. I do not want my son's pussy infected. And if you can't give my son the pussy of his dreams, if you can't give my son, listen to me, medical community, Fauci. If you can't give my son a pussy he's proud of, then if I can't look at my son's pussy without feeling a little bit of pride, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be involved because that's sick. That's sick. If you give my son a pussy that's gross and green and diseased, I'm going to be mad. As a father, as a dad, as a gay dad who adopted a son who wants a pussy, if we just follow this to its logical conclusion. Me and my husband have adopted a kid who ends up being trans, and we're dealing with it. And he comes home and he goes, I got a puss. And we're like, great. And then he's like, here it is. And we're all looking at his pussy at Christmas. And his sister's like, oh my God, that's gross. Put it away. And I'm like, shut up. He accomplished that. And then I look at it and I'm like, the lips are green. The lips of your pussy are green. And my son goes, Dad, shut up. I think they know what they're doing. And I'm like, yeah, maybe they do, but like, maybe trust your old man a little bit. How about you trust your old man a little bit on this? I used to, before I decided I wanted cocks in my mouth, I used to fuck around with the ladies, and I never saw a green puss. I saw some flaps I didn't love down there, but I never saw a green puss. Can you trust your old man here? And my husband's going, honey, can you stop? Honey, can you stop? It probably goes away after a few days. I'm like they told us the fireplace did. We had to burn it for 8 hours, and then the smell of gas goes away. I'm telling you, you got a problem here, son. You got a problem, you got a green puss. And I want to take you back. And he goes, nope, fuck you. I'm like, whatever. And then in 2 days, he wakes up and it's worse. It's bad. And I'm like, I told you. And now my son's pussy is being ravaged by necrotizing fasciitis. My son's vagina that I paid for and he's proud of and we love. We love it. My son's pussy. And then my neighbor says, what's going on? And I go, my son, his pussy. But it's daughter, but I still can't. It's hard for me to say because I just keep forgetting because he was my son for many years. So and he's okay with it. My son is actually okay with it. He's like, Dad, I get it. I'm very chi now, but I get it's okay. So that's why I'm talking. And I go, I'm like, Ralph's pussy is green. And my neighbor goes, didn't you just get that pussy? I go, he just got that pussy. But the thing is, we put Ralph on puberty blockers, so he didn't have enough penis tissue to make the pussy. They had to use his bowel. And they go, of course. And then it's like, in Long Island, someone's like, Ralph's having problems with his bowel pussy. This is a problem. So I'm just letting you know because my son also wants a pussy. And we're not doing it out of his bowel. We're doing small intestine. No, well, Tim Dillon's son had a bowel pussy. And now he's got necrotizing fasciitis. So we're taking a small part of the small intestine for our son's pussy. Folks, I know people might be offended by this. What I'm trying to say is that I want better pussies. I want better pussies for the, and I want better cocks for the ladies that want cocks. I want a hard, thick cock for my daughter. If my daughter, I want a beautiful, 8 is a little too much, but a 7, like a 7.5, nice big cock that's perfectly pink and thick and round with 2 nice balls. I want that for my daughter. And if they don't know how to make a cock for my daughter, if my daughter comes home with a rotten cock, because by the way, folks, this is what's going to happen. You're not winning with this stuff. You're just not going to win. Your children are going to have cocks and pussies for Christmas. You're not going to win. You're probably not going to win. I don't know. I think it's a little wacky too. I think adults should be able to do what they want. But it's just what it's going to be. You're going to be getting your kids cocks and pussies for Christmas. There's no way around it. In 10 years, you're going to be giving your daughter a realistic cock, and she's going to open it and go, thank you. And you're going to go, tomorrow we go down to the clinic and get it sewed on. And she's going to be happy because this is what it's going to be. And I want the best for my kids. So I want my daughter to have a big, thick cock if she wants. And I want my son to have a pussy if he wants. But we have to do better by the kids with the materials we use. We have to use better materials to make the pussy. And that's true. This is real. No one should be getting angry at me. I know that people are going to get angry at this and they're going to go, this is actually a very serious issue and you're trivializing it. But I'm actually not. I'm actually saying you can't build a pussy out of bowels. You got to use better material to build my son's pussy. If my son wants a pussy, I want him to have a good one. I want it to be wet. I want my son to have a wet pussy. I want that. You think I want my son to have some a dry puss? A dry pussy? I want my son's pussy to be so wet that when he gets up from the chair on Christmas dinner, he leaves a trail. Like a snail. Like a snail. Here's the thing. Can I even do the show anymore? Because it's like, can you satirize any of this anymore? Yeah. Wait, can you make jokes about it? Like, what I don't even know anymore. Like, how do you heighten any of this? How do you make any of this, how do you make any of this funny without, I don't know anymore. It's like, we're at a point pretty soon where like, whatever I do, whatever you want to call it, what I do, political satire, I don't know what you want to call it, social commentary, it's almost becoming it's crazy to even talk about, but I'm dead serious about this. This is a tragedy, and I want everyone to do the right thing. This is not good. They say they got E. coli. You know what, salmonella? I ate raw cookie dough once, and I went, am I going to get salmonella from it because of the egg? But this is what I mean about risks we take in life. I ate raw cookie dough. Someone gets a puss. But it shouldn't be a risk. You should be able to transition in a healthy way, and it should be cost effective. It shouldn't be hard. And your family should be involved. Your family should be involved in your, you know what I mean? Why wouldn't, if you got a new pussy, you not show it? Like, there was me and this kid, Dan, we were on the road for a while, and we used to say this stuff all the time, and it was really funny. We used to say the sentence where we go, don't be too embarrassed to ask your son to see his pussy. And we said that's going to be the quote of 2021. Don't be too embarrassed to ask your son to see his new pussy. And that's what I think, that's the advice I give to fathers. That's the advice I give to fathers right now. You know your son has a pussy, and you know he's proud of it. Ask to see it. Ask to see it. You're not going to be aroused. You're not sick. You're not a sicko. You just want to make sure that they did the right thing by your son because you took him in and they're, giving him a puss so he can become your daughter. And you're like, I'm cool with all that. I'm fine with all that. Go, hey, guys, I'm good with that. I don't care. By the way, I wouldn't care. A lot of people don't care. If your son becomes a daughter, your daughter becomes a son. Some people care. But you want them to be healthy and happy and have the best private parts they can have. That can't be controversial. It can't be controversial to say, I want my transgender son or daughter to have the best fake private parts they can have. And I'll pay for it. I've got money. I've got money to buy a cock for my daughter. But it's got to be good. It can't kill her. Your pussy killed my son. How many people are going to have to run into a medical facility and go, your pussy killed my son? That's going to be the new Braveheart.